We there? The people can hear us? All right, cool. Hey, guys.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to Office Hours. It's us, not Omid and not Omid. Or, Oliver and Joe.
Yeah, we do have names.
Yeah, I mean...
But we're also not Omid.
Yeah, in case you didn't notice.
Yep.
Omid is not here today, unfortunately, but hopefully we'll be back next week. Wild, thank you for the 13 months there.
Yep.
McStabby, thank you for spamming my face in chat.
Stabby. Hi, Wild. Samurai King. Vox Nostra. Merlin. Lots of good faces in here.
Yeah, nice to see you guys all today. Hope you guys have all had a good week. I can't believe it's Friday already.
Yep.
But yeah.
Friday!
Oh, Friday
Yes,
excitement in
indeed.
the
Yes,
studio
indeed.
here. That was totally not Jamar, except it was Jamar. But that's how things go. I know. I understand Red Rooster, but he'll be back at some point when he's not either doing work-related things for OPG or work-related things for like the Russian mob or whatever it is Omid gets into. I can't confirm or deny exactly what it is he's doing.
Let's say he keeps busy.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Oh, that's right, Wild. You live in the future. I'm
It
sorry.
is.
Time zones, man.
Yep. Hope the weekend is treating you right.
Yes.
We'll be there soon.
Australia.
We're catching up. We're catching up minute by minute.
Anyways, so today we are blaming Oliver for getting you sick. Oh yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Samurai King.
Can that happen through the internet?
It can. I have pretty good reach with my sickness powers, so
That's true. On a ring world, we'd be fine.
yeah. These are all good points.
Yes. Yes. indeed.
But yeah. Anyways, today, guys, we're gonna be talking about convention security,
Yes.
which should be fun. But first, we wanted to make a quick announcement, real quick.
Yeah.
And that's that we have a new client actually right now. Number one, Alex.
Yes.
He is the number one of all the other Alexes.
One.
Yeah. So number
Not
one,
to be
Alex.
mistaken with any others.
Right. He's not number 3 Alex or anything like that. Like he's number 1. Yep. Exactly, Wild. So that's exciting. I actually am really pumped to have him as a client. I actually met him last year at TwitchCon. Actually, specifically, I met him in the bathroom at the California Pizza Kitchen across the street from the convention center. I was going there to go have lunch with him, just to meet up and see what he's all about and stuff. And he walked in, and I was in the restroom, and a little awkward of a place to meet someone. But I was like, yeah, well, I'll see you out there, man.
Yep.
So that was fun. But no, like Alex is a good dude. I really like him.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm excited that we're gonna be working with him.
Yeah. Excited to get started working with him.
Yeah, and actually, I think he's heading to Japan actually tomorrow for a little while. So
Yep.
he may be gone, maybe doing some cool IRL stuff in Japan. So that should be fun. Yes, restroom meetings are unique.
It's unforgettable. Really.
Yes, exactly, which is why I had to bring it up. Right? It's like I don't like, hi, how's it going? We'll talk out there, like not in here, because that's a weird place to do that.
Yes.
But yes, number one Alex is our number 40-something client. I was gonna say a number, but I don't want to be wrong, and I have no idea. I would guess 44 and a half.
We don't have any half clients.
44 and 3/4. All right.
You can't divide clients.
All right. Well, we can try next time.
It's not something we do here.
All right.
But moving on, we are really excited to work with Alex. He runs a great show, and we're excited to see kind of what we can do going forwards. Dodger does not count as a half. She's a whole person.
He's short enough. I mean, look, if we're doing that, then Haley is something, Anyway, we're not doing that. I love all of them.
A couple of quick things before we kind of dive in. Wild and Samurai King, thank you guys both so much for subbing. For anybody who doesn't know here, might be new, all proceeds from subbing to the channel, donations, bits, etc., all go to a fund that we keep here, and we periodically will use all of that money. All that money goes directly towards a giveaway fund that we do for streamers that we can help like give some equipment to, whether that's like webcams, or we've done like highlight reel clips in the past, little things that we can do to help broadcasters that are getting started out. So we really appreciate any of that kind of stuff that comes in. It's going towards a good cause. Additionally, as Nightbot so graciously let us know, if you guys have any questions, obviously feel free to ask in the chat. You can also tweet us at OP_group on Twitter with the hashtag AskOPG, and we'll do our best to get to the question and answer that for you here.
Yes, because hopefully
Yeah.
that'll work this time.
I believe.
You know, we can try it out,
Yeah.
hopefully. But yeah, moving on actually to get into the meat of the show, the meat and potatoes, as they say. I like meat and potatoes.
I do as well.
Yeah. We're actually talking about security today. It's been a big issue lately that people are talking about, and specifically convention security
Yeah.
is what we're going to be diving into. And before we really dive into that, we do want to preface this with Joe and I are not experts on this subject in
We're
any
not.
way, shape, or form.
No.
So anything that we're saying is more. We're not like trying to say like this is how it should be done. We're more saying like we want to have an open discussion about
Yeah.
concerns that people have and how we think they can best approach it. If you have specific questions about security and protecting yourself and stuff, I think Mr. McStabby is a better person to go ask about that.
Yes,
So
indeed. He's
maybe go find him on Twitter and bug him about it, because actually, he is somebody that I got a lot of this information from. So cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. As Oliver said, we are not experts in any way, shape, or form here. But if we can help out a little bit, we are happy to do so. And again, feel free to ask questions. We may or may not be able to answer them, but we'll do our best.
Yep. I will answer everything. I can answer all of the questions. I can't say I'm answering them correctly, but I can answer all the questions. So ask me anything. AMA with us, Oliver and Joe. Anyways,
Cool.
let's talk security, Joe.
Let's do it.
So, obviously, in light of recent events, it's been a big subject of discussion lately.
Yeah.
And it's actually interesting timing. I had no idea this was going to happen this way, but Twitch actually just posted their TwitchCon security update thing, which is interesting. They posted something about it, I want to say, right after PAX. When was PAX? Was that last week?
No.
2 weeks
PAX
ago?
was the week before. Yeah.
Okay.
Labor Day weekend.
So I think last week, possibly they had mentioned hey, we hear your concerns about the current state of security at these conventions, and we want you to know that we're going to be doing more to make sure that everyone feels comfortable.
Yeah.
Which is great. A lot of people were happy about that because it meant at the very least Twitch was listening to their community.
Yeah.
And it meant that they wanted to dive into it a little bit more.
Yeah.
They didn't go into details at the time, but they released their blog today, which, I could probably post it in chat. I have powers.
Yes, you do.
There it is. Safety and security.
It's a brief blog on sort of what you can expect. Honestly, it's pretty standard. There isn't really anything here that's going to blow your mind in any way, shape, or form. It's pretty standard, preparing for an event thing, bag policy, don't bring weapons, some other rules and regulations, that sort of thing. It is helpful, but it's all pretty standard stuff.
Let's see.
It's good to know that Twitch is cognizant that there are these issues and that it's something that people are taking very seriously. Yeah.
I might have giggled a bit when reading the post. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I was a little underwhelmed when I read through it because, right at the top of the post it says enhanced security at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
And I think prefacing the blog with enhanced is interesting because like Joe said, what followed was pretty standard sounding
Yeah.
convention security things. You know, not that that's
Yeah, it's not bad in any way, shape, or
right.
form.
Like we,
It's just, yeah.
that's kind of what we had already expected
Yeah.
to see, and we were kind of hoping to see like something more. You know, something enhanced, like the name suggested, I guess. I know something Omid pointed out was that there's going to be the same entrance for general admission, partners, press. So it should be interesting seeing how it all works out. Have you been to the San Jose Convention Center?
I have not. No.
Okay, because I know you're from closer to that area
Yeah.
than we are
I'm
currently.
familiar with facilities in the East Bay as well as San Francisco, Moscone Center out there, but I've not been to the San Jose Convention Center
Okay,
before.
I drove past it once.
That is more than I've done,
There you go.
at least knowingly.
Yeah, well. And yeah, like Audrey say, it feels like standard security rules when you go to a convention or a major sporting event.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, so.
And Bruce, they could be being vague on purpose. I think for maybe a couple of reasons, because they're still figuring stuff out, obviously, and that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. And
I think, and fair, and then also,
I mean, last week when they made, like I said, last week they made the announcement that they were going to look into it,
Yeah.
and a lot of people in there, I don't want to call out any names, but Ann Munition. No, it's nothing bad about Ann, but she was just saying, like, I would be happy if they didn't give a bunch of details, because she had expressed concern about, I don't know, if they were too detailed about exactly what they were doing, the concern was that, like, then maybe people could figure out a way around it.
Yeah.
So I know some people were concerned about that.
We should cancel it.
Jamar's suggestion to fix security at the event is to not have the event, which would probably be safer, because, you know, can't have problems at an event if there's no event.
what are you supposed to do? Live your entire life inside?
We're all gamers. you
Yeah,
know?
it's actually true. Never go outside.
Never. Bad things
If
happen
you
out
do
there.
have to, just as Lucky said, wrap yourself in bubble wrap.
Ooh.
Can really protect you and make awesome sounds when you're rolling downhill.
Yeah, I mean, I like bubble wrap,
Yeah.
so, you know, bubble wrap. Maybe, you know, that'll be a cool cosplay. I'm bubble wrap guy.
That's the lamest cosplay I've ever heard in my life. But anyway, yeah.
Going more into it, I think, I don't know. When I read through the TwitchCon like security post, something that stood out to me, and you know that I know other people were talking about, was the bag policy. Now, I'm not super good at imagining sizes when dimensions are like spelled out, but apparently attendees will be allowed to bring one bag, maximum size 12 by 15 by 6, which in my head is like.
It's like a purse size.
Right,
kind of
okay,
deal,
cool.
right?
I'm glad I'm not
maybe
wrong.
Maybe a fanny pack.
Fanny pack. Yeah, but it's not like a huge bag or anything, is what it sounds like. And all those bags are going to be subject to search. And the big thing that people were taking away from this was that there were no backpacks being allowed in, which is interesting because the partner gift this year is backpacks.
Yeah.
But I imagine that's, you know, that is probably the result of the backpack idea was probably planned beforehand, and they're doing it, and now they want to try to reassess the security issue, but, you know, it's a little tricky.
Yeah.
It's a medium-sized backpack. Thank you, McStabby. Lunchbox sized. Okay, now I'm confused. Most messenger bags don't even fit into those dimensions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So it's gonna be just a reality, something to plan for.
Like, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see
Yeah.
how that plays out. They specifically mentioned that any backpacks or larger bags that are purchased or obtained at all at the event themselves, yeah, right there, can't re-enter with them.
I think Spirit Airlines carry on. Yeah.
That's actually pretty good. I've taken Spirit Airlines a lot because I'm cheap, and I go to Vegas, and that's a cheap flight here.
Yeah.
I want to say also, I don't remember exactly where it was in the post, but it did say that they were working closely with local law enforcement, I want to say. So, I mean, kind of vague. Maybe, hopefully it's, you know, hopefully they're being more in depth about it
Yeah.
than they're letting on, which would be fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like I want them to do it, but at the same time they do kind of have a responsibility to reassure the community that they're doing the work and that they are trying their best to make sure everyone is safe and can have a good time, because at the end of the day, that's what this is, right? Like TwitchCon, people want to go, they want to go to the convention, they want to meet their favorite streamers, they want to hang out with people that they interact with in chat, because that's a good time. Like that's where I met Mr. McStabby at PAX South, and I'm like, oh, you're that guy, and it was fun. We hung out, we went to parties, it was great.
Yep.
He may have carried Jamar at one point, I want to say, that night. I'm pretty sure he picked him up like in Dirty Dancing and like carried him out. It was, I think that was pretty magical. So
I need photographic evidence. I'd very much like to see that.
Yeah.
So I want to say that I thought TwitchCon did a pretty good job last year. They, upon entering, no matter if you were a partner or media or just a regular person attending the convention, that's a beautiful thing to imagine, isn't it? No, they made you go through a bag check. They made you empty your pockets and go through a metal detector. They had people with the wands to do like a quick scan. So you were going through security similar to if you were going to any sort of like big festival or concert or big venue type activity, really. So they did have those countermeasures, which are going to increase the size of the line. You're going to wait a little bit longer outside. But here's the thing, like I think that almost everybody is willing to wait a couple of extra minutes so that proper security measures are taken. Is that enough? I don't know, honestly, but it's something that helps.
Yeah. They have to expense with balanced security optics and secure reality. Even if they strip searched everybody on the way in, there would still be risk to attendees. If they make rules too restrictive, they can't afford to enforce them.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes more sense.
There's a finite amount of money that everything has in this, and a big convention like TwitchCon or a PAX has different departments and different budgets for what they're working on. And that's it's a reality.
But like you said, I mean, like last year, like TwitchCon, I felt like they did a pretty okay job, at least, of putting the metal detectors there, having the badge checks, which in my opinion is like the bare minimum that should ever be done at a convention.
That is absolute minimum stuff. And I have attended conventions in the gaming sphere here that did neither of those things.
Let's talk about that, Joe, because I think, I mean, again, like going back to the event that kind of sparked all of this, discussion lately. Right after it, PAX West happened. And I know a lot of people were talking about security at PAX West, and there was a lot of talk going into it of like, I wonder what they're going to do. Are they going to up security? How are they going to, reassure us all that they're making the effort to fix things? And from what I heard, now I wasn't there myself, but from what I heard, it was a little lackluster. I was there
from OPG as well as Jamar. Omid and Jen were also at the convention at PAX West just a couple of weekends ago. I saw and met McStabby out there as well.
He's a good dude. I like that guy.
And they didn't have either of those things. They didn't have metal detectors that you would walk through to get in. They didn't have bag checks or anything like that in any of the areas that I saw. And I was on the main convention floor almost every day for at least part of the convention. Now, there were extreme amounts of people. There were a lot of people, and I felt like they were prioritizing getting people in and various events around the convention. Just like you said, Merlin, Broadcast Royale, some of the various parties and activities around the convention center did have those countermeasures, the pocket checks, bag checks, metal detectors, that sort of thing. But the actual convention, the Washington State Convention Center, didn't have any of those measures.
That's interesting.
Now, I never felt unsafe while I was on the floor. And on the floor, they did have a lot of security people as well as police officers walking around as well. But all of that stuff is reactionary. You know,
Right.
none of it was preventative. And I firmly believe that preventative measures need to be taken so that, I mean, if something happens, you know, then everybody is just reacting to it. The thing has already happened. If you can stop the thing before it happens, that's a win-win scenario in every case, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting that, you know, again, that pretty much lines up with everything I heard about PAX West from people that were there. I'm trying to remember. I know PAX East definitely had metal detectors and bag checks at any point that I entered.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see. And like I said, like I expected it. Like it wasn't a surprise. I'm pretty sure I went through a media line, so it wasn't as long of a line.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like even so, like the general admission line looked fine.
Yeah.
Like it didn't seem to slow anything down to the point where I was like, maybe they need to rethink this. So yeah, I find it surprising that at West they wouldn't. I'm honestly trying to remember what they did at South, and I can't. And I want to say there were no metal detectors at South. McStabby, you may have to chime in there, or Jamar. I don't know if you remember. You were there.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing any like metal detectors or anything. I pretty much remember like walking in, and there was some dude in a chair, and like I flashed my badge real quick and just kept walking. So I don't know. It's a little weird that it's different, and I get that like a lot of that comes down to the staff at the convention center and the security that they hire for it, more so than it. You know, it's not like PAX themselves that's doing it, but
Yeah.
I think they have a responsibility to make sure that you know, good effort is being taken.
Yeah.
Mr. McStabby says personal security is about protecting people. Corporate level security, what conventions and businesses have, is all about liability. Good luck suing us if something goes wrong. Look at all the security we have. That's fun. Thanks for that, McStabby.
Yeah. So
No metal detectors, minimal bag checks at South. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's from what I remember. That's how it was. PAX East was definitely tougher on it than anything else I remember going on.
yeah. And our point here is not to bash any particular convention, whether it's a business that puts on conventions similar to PAX, or whether it's an individual event. And I do truly believe that on a personal level, as well as at a higher up level, people at these companies do want to protect people. Obviously, they do need to, the CYA rule applies. Cover your ass applies across the board. But they, you know, I do truly believe that they want to protect their convention goers.
Yeah.
I mean, those are their customers, and they need to have them come back next year.
Yeah.
And not be scared off. And hopefully, they start to take some of these preventative measures that will help people feel more safe.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because again, like a lot of people are saying like, oh well, you have, you know, police on staff on the floor, but like, what is that going to, you know, do? I mean, I guess in a way it could act as a deterrent, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, like we said, we're not experts on this field, but
That's true. Yeah.
I think that with it being such a big issue right now, like, I think the fact that Twitch is at least vocally discussing it, you know, in the weeks leading up to TwitchCon will be a good thing. As far as I know, PAX like still hasn't really responded officially to the public criticism they've been getting towards the security or lack thereof at PAX West. So I'm optimistic
Yeah.
that TwitchCon will make everybody feel better. Jamar likes to have fun and put things on our screen that you guys can't see.
I'm actually trying to do something.
Let's see.
But yeah.
Mistabby is a combat bet. Yep, combat bet. That's what he is.
Hey,
Personal security.
And you're right. Their checkpoints are not necessarily going to deter somebody that is focused on, creating havoc and hurting people, similar to that crazy guy in was it Jacksonville?
Yes.
Yeah. But protect yourself and be safe. Be good to the people around you.
Yeah, and I think Vox Nostra has a good point here, in that the reality is that most people will not have situational awareness, and you have to have a plan to deal with that. Hypervigilance isn't instinctual, you have to teach it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I read about last night. Thank you, Mr. McStabby. But he shared with me a document. It's funny, because when the idea of the topic for this show came up, I brought up the point that Mr. McStabby works with personal security and maybe a good resource to go to for information on this subject. And I asked him, like, hey, like, what do you think, just as a general question? And he was like, I'm about 4 pages into this 6-page document that I'm writing about the subject. I'm like, oh, cool. Send that over to me, because I really want to know. I actually just got really lucky with everything that happened in relation to this show happening.
Yeah.
And that everyone was just doing things. Like, Mr. McStabby was already writing this information out.
Yeah.
Twitch was all just about ready to release their blog, so it's just it was destined.
Yeah.
But I bring up that document because that's something that Mr. McStabby talks about in there, and that he was saying one of the first things that you need to do when you're entering a convention or anything really is kind of understanding the area and the setting and figure out where your exit is. As a big thing. It is tagged on his Twitter as well. If that slacker Jamar wants to grab the link and drop it in chat. Ooh, I like it. I could probably find it.
Well,
I
Oliver
got
grabs
you.
that. Obviously, we've talked about security here at conventions that we've attended and coming up. On that side of things, we'll talk a little bit more about how you can maybe prepare yourself if you are attending one of these conventions. But the reality is that if more countermeasures aren't made, if people don't feel safe, they're not going to attend these things, which really sucks because conventions can be one of the. I know a lot of people that conventions are the time where they get to meet everybody offline. They get to go and hang out with their friends that they spend the rest of the year with, chatting online, whether that's streaming, a relationship between a streamer and their audience, between people that are friends and have developed relationships online. That's a time where everybody's in the same place and you get to hang out and you get to go to parties together and have a drink together or get dinner or do whatever you guys want to do. Get to actually hang out offline, which is something that's really awesome, and an experience that in this kind of internet age that we live in, especially this streaming sphere, Twitch, and live streaming atmosphere, environment, getting to develop those relationships offline is something that I truly believe is really special. So hopefully some of these conventions, some of these people that are putting together the events that bring these people together are also really cognizant and really vigilant about protecting the people that come together too. Because it would be a shame if people just get scared off and stop coming.
Yeah.
It would just end it, and that would really suck.
Yeah, and I mean that's also something that people have been saying. I think Ellaheim tweeted about it recently that he was considering maybe not going to TwitchCon this year, and that he just doesn't feel comfortable going.
And if you don't feel safe, there's nothing that. If you don't feel safe, don't go.
Yeah.
That's that. If something about something else makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel like you are not going to be safe, your personal or your personal health or your personal safety, the safety of your friends or family, if you're truly scared about those things, then it's a natural reaction to not put yourself in that situation. And nobody can ever blame you for that. That's your own personal thing, which is why hopefully some of these companies help to run some protection.
Yeah, that'd be nice, because I like Ellaheim.
Me too.
If I'm going to TwitchCon this year, I would like to see Ellaheim there.
Yep.
Because, he's pretty cool. I don't call him Smellaheim, Lucky. I think that's mean. I also don't remember what he smells like, though. So maybe I'm not the go-to expert on that subject either. Next time I'll smell him. Speaking of security, are we addressing home security or general personal security for streamers in this episode, or just conventions? Dr. Disrespect's situation seems relevant. It does seem relevant.
Yeah.
And actually, in that document that Mr. McStabby wrote, there's a whole half of it that is dedicated to home security, which is great, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's also a pretty big issue that happened. That was this week, right?
That was earlier this week. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of crazy. Also, the news coverage of it, the local news coverage of it later that evening was interesting because it kind of. I don't know. I just don't think it was handled very well.
No, it wasn't. But with that being said, especially if you are running an online business, an online entertainment business specifically in front of a large audience, protect yourself, protect your whereabouts. Don't. People have fans that want to mail you stuff. Like, get a PO box. Your PO box doesn't have to be in the same city as you live in.
Yeah.
Get one a city down or two.
Yeah.
If you have to make a trip once a week over there, and it takes you a few minutes more, like, do some of those things to help protect yourself.
I used to write blogs, a lot of blogs, and I wrote blogs for a lot of random companies. Saw that. It was good, right?
That was good.
Yeah. And it's funny, this topic came up in discussion with a client earlier this week, and something sort of unrelated, sort of related, but it involved him needing to use his address on something. And, he was, again, for a lot of the reasons that you were saying just now, wasn't super comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
And I wrote for a mail forwarding service, which is something that you can do. A lot of businesses use it to register their business under a different address if their business is like a work from home thing.
Yep.
And you can set it up that way, and basically all of the mail would go there, and then those people can forward that mail to wherever you want, just to kind of provide you with that kind of intermediary. Essentially just like a P.O. box, but they mail it to you after that, which is nice. So that's another option, but there are ways to protect against that, I guess. Like, it's tricky. And Audrey, news coverage made it worse, as usual. Yeah. I don't know. What's this? News coverage that's less than factual and helpful? That is socking, Vox Nostra.
Yeah.
It was definitely socking.
Yeah. If you're looking to protect your own home, again, not experts. Look into things like, if you're running an internet business, get a VPN service.
Yeah.
That can help. Other things you can do, if you're posting on social media, if you're streaming, etc., don't ever show any of your mail.
Yeah.
That might have personal identification information on there. Make sure that if you're posting pictures or you're streaming, that that you're not showing the exterior front of your house. Don't show your address. Don't show what street you live on, et cetera, et cetera. Make sure that you're protecting as much of that personal information as you possibly can. Just like Zach said, invest in a home camera.
Nest.
I actually saw our accountant using Nest earlier today, and it was really freaking cool. So I might actually get that for my own home.
That's cool.
He was watching his dog sitter came in and was taking the dogs out for a walk.
Cool.
And there was an app that he could watch on his phone with a live feed from the camera.
Yeah.
Turn off location stuff on the various social media platforms that you use, Twitter, whatever else you're using. Be careful.
Yeah. And Merlin here was saying, and as part of his last job, was going and getting mail from P.O. boxes and delivering them to clients. There are some concierge companies in most major cities that streamers can hook up with inexpensively, and they, you can get that taken care of. If if going to the PO box is a hassle, and it can be, because if you put it in somewhere not close to your home because you don't want it close to your home,
Yep.
then yeah, I mean you can probably get something set up to where you can get it sent to you. Use a registered agent. That's the word I was looking for, Voxmaster. Thank you.
Yes.
I was trying to find those words when I was talking about the mail forwarding stuff, but yes, you can do that. Snapchat shows your location on a map.
Yeah, it's Snap Map. It's a whole
Snap
thing.
Map?
Yep.
I don't really snap a whole lot,
Yeah,
so I'm not
turn it off.
familiar with Snap.
Or just don't use Snapchat. You're not super gonna be missing out.
Yeah,
You might get a funny snap from Zach once in a while, but that's about it.
yeah, that's really all it is.
It's
It's
mostly just a view.
me. Yeah, I don't know. Zach has a weird fascination with like taking like snaps of me. Why can't I remember the name of that program?
Snapchat.
Chat. Thank you. That was really weird. But yeah, Zach, you should stop doing that because it's weird. And honestly, at the end of the day, I'm liable to say anything because I'm tired and it's been a long day and I do weird shit when I sit in that beanbag chair.
This is true. We know this.
Yeah, so don't judge me.
Yeah. Apart from that, like, if you are going away for a while or whatever, like, have somebody check up on your house, do that sort of thing. Somebody you trust and know. And if you are if you're doing a viewer meetup or something like that, make sure don't do it at your house. Do it at a public space.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the same city you live in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why, like, again, getting back to the subject of conventions,
Yeah.
I think that's another reason why they're so appealing, is it gives, streamers that opportunity to interact with their community in kind of an open public place
Yeah.
where, it's not very revealing as to where they live or any of their personal information. They're very much in control of that situation, at least in terms of controlling where it's happening. I mean, I guess while we're on this topic, like, I think it was PAX East, I want to say. I think the Haley Baby did a panel kind of on this topic of just like personal safety as a streamer. And she delved into a lot of this. And something that I found interesting that she said was that she had to tell her her family to like stop tagging her in like photos because like there would be a photo of like let's just say it's you and let's say you're this super cool streamer and everybody loves you and maybe you have some crazy fans that want to know where you live. Maybe you go and you hang out with your parents, and maybe you go to visit your parents and you take some pictures and they're like, oh, it was great to see, everyone here, and it lists that city. And then maybe based off that information, someone could find out that you lived in the area, maybe the school you went to, and can track your information down that way.
Yep.
I forget who it was that was on that panel that was talking about that, but that happened to them. And what it came down to was, and this was not a unique situation because each person on that panel basically said that, yeah, I had to explain to my family, like, look, you can't do that. Like, it's not enough to just take this, these measures of personal security on like your own. Like you also have to inform like your friends and your family that, this is the nature of my job, Like I have to be very careful with the amount of information that I disclose publicly, and I need you to also do the same.
Yep.
It's not always super easy to make that clear because, we talk about this a lot too, like not a whole lot of people actually know what Twitch is.
Yeah.
It's weird when we talk about it because we're all here all the time and, we're watching streams and I can say it's a very large chunk of my life, like just the nature of our job, like it involves a lot of Twitch. And so I'm very familiar with it. But anytime I have to explain what we do to someone, it's very awkward. That happened this morning, actually. Someone new moved into our building, and they came up just to ask some like general like questions, and we're helping out, and he just kind of politely asked, "Oh, well, what do you guys do here? This looks cool." And I was just like,
So Twitch, have you heard of it?
Yeah. Can somebody explain this? That's not me because I don't feel like explaining it this time. Because it's weird, but like, as a streamer, you have to explain that to your family so that they understand. Like, hey, this isn't just something I'm politely asking about. Like, this is important for my security.
Yep.
And I need to be safe, and I need you to help me be safe. And if you phrase it that way, I think it goes a long way in having other people understand the kinds of things that you need to have done, basically.
Yeah. Die Early, Die Often asks, I was curious if the larger streamers get a primer on how to deal with being a celebrity. The answer for that is no.
No.
The answer for that is no. There is not an infrastructure built up for Twitch streamers, YouTubers, whatever the online medium is, whether, even Instagram model, that sort of thing. There isn't an infrastructure there that exists with, say, Hollywood actors.
Yeah.
That once they get to a certain size, there's no class that they take, there's no video that they're sent or something like that. These are the tips and tricks on how to protect yourself. If streamers hire management services, that's something that we can sometimes help with. How to deal with being a celebrity. Obviously, the business side of things is our specialty. That's what we do. So that's what we can advise the most on. But those resources, a lot of times, are available to people, but they're never just given it. It's something that they oftentimes would have to seek out themselves.
Yeah.
And then the nature of kind of live streaming is, because there's not a lot of infrastructure, a lot of live streamers, big or small, are just kind of normal people that, one day their channel got hot and they made the risk to quit their day job and do it full time, and they started grinding and got to where they are. So they, haven't taken these kind of classes or had these sort of resources to know how to protect themselves necessarily.
Yeah. Mr. McStabby, I like that you used the Jerry Maguire analogy to explain what we do, because I've used that at least once, probably more. Anytime I can compare myself to Tom Cruise, I will, because he's a crazy person, and I find him fascinating.
Let's not go into that.
Yeah. Anyways.
Fascinating is a good word.
Yeah. But I think going to what Die Early, Die Often said, no, like, larger streamers don't get that primer, and the big thing is, this is such a new space still. Hollywood celebrities and like actors, like musicians, like that kind of fandom and like icon worship of some sort is like more familiar with most mainstream audiences now. So a lot of times when someone goes into acting and is looking to make it in Hollywood, or looking to make it, as a professional musician or something in the entertainment industry, in the mainstream entertainment industry, they understand that with that comes, the fame and the attention and that kind of stuff. With streamers, I mean, especially like people that have been doing this a long time, like you look at someone like Gassy Mexican, who's been, started on YouTube when he was like 15 or something, like there's no way he would have predicted that, he would have started doing that then and had gotten to where he is now.
To make a full career of it.
Right.
And be a celebrity.
Yeah.
Also, part of the nature of doing something more traditional, like being an actor or a musician or something like that, when you're an actor, you go on set, and you go and you interact with the other people that are there, all across, other actors, and then also directors, producers,
Industry people,
right? You're going to a place to shoot or to record your music or to do whatever you're doing. So you're actually going somewhere else. You're interacting with other people, and if you're starting out, you're probably going as a smaller role supporting larger people.
Yeah.
And those larger people are probably going to have help. They're probably going to have help in the way of managers, agents. They're going to have things like personal security. And those horror stories that people hear of like crazy stuff happening are really in the forefront. People learn that early, and they learn to protect themselves. I don't know exactly how the process works. I've watched Entourage. That's my knowledge there.
Solid background.
But the nature of live streaming or online content creation is you do all of this from your house. You never go anywhere. You never, I mean, maybe you do IRL work, you do X, Y, or Z, but you never go onto a set where you're being educated by other people that have done this
Yeah.
for a long time. That kind of education comes in the way of following other people on social media, watching their streams, maybe DMs between people, like that sort of communication, which is not as necessarily as effective as if you're going on to set with somebody or you're going into the studio with somebody and actually talking with them face to face.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of like the main difference when it comes to, you know, live streaming, like online content compared to any of the other traditional forms of media.
Yeah.
It's so much more interactive and it's so much more isolated.
Yep.
Like when you're watching a stream, it's easy to forget that when you're watching someone, they're probably in a room by themselves. They're not around, like they're not physically around their audience. They're not physically interacting with people in their chat on a regular basis. They're just kind of on, and they're like on camera, and they're developing a closer, tighter knit like relationship with their audience.
Yep.
You know, it's not like a one-way thing,
Yeah.
which I
It's
think
interactive.
is yeah.
Which is one of the things that it makes it so cool, right? It's one of the reasons why I love it so much.
Yeah.
It's because I can go in there and say hi to somebody, and they're like, "Hey, Joe, how's it going? How's your
Yeah.
day?" And I'm like, you know,
Yeah. So I
not
remember.
bad.
Vox Nostra says, at the end of the day, the differences are more perceived than real. The attention economy includes risk at all levels. Eventually, you'll end up with attention you'd rather not have.
Yep.
The difference between chat trolls and crazies on your lawn is just one of the degree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 100% true. I mean, I agree with that exactly, and that's I think what we're trying to say too is that it's like this being a celebrity, if you're an online celebrity or a Hollywood celebrity, that part of it is not different. The education that people receive is different.
Yeah.
So hopefully, that is something that can change.
Yeah. And Mr. McStabby, speaking of the Wild West, and yes, that is something Omid says, but Omid was very excited to learn where you worked, by the way. I just wanted you to know that. But I mean, I think I've talked about this before on Office Hours, but I'm gonna touch on it again. But like part of what makes a streamer, like part of what makes them effective, I guess,
Yep.
as an entertainer is their ability to interact with their audience, right?
Yep.
Like here we are, we're on camera, it's Joe and I in a room right now, you know, in the back room of our office, but we're interacting with, you know, multiple people here in chat right now.
Yep.
Because of that, we have a different relationship than this, let's say, the one that you have with the characters on Entourage, you know?
Yes.
Where that's a one-way relationship where you are sitting down, you turn on the TV, and there they are.
I'm like, hey, it's Turtle.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I saw him out in the street, I'd be like, hey, it's Turtle. But that's my relationship, you know? He doesn't
Yeah,
know who I am.
Exactly.
So it's
Omid knew what you did. He didn't know where you worked specifically.
Yep.
And he found that extremely amusing.
yep.
Like laugh out, like actual, like I could hear his excitement in the next room because he found out. As did I. That was very exciting to learn. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it is. That's awesome. So yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think in the document that Stabby sent over about personal security, there's a lot of general personal security like knowledge in there that I think is good. I'm going to do some of that because I moved into a new place recently. There's a lot of windows, which is great. It's, you know, natural light and stuff, but you know, I feel like everyone's always watching me, and like it's kind of weird. I don't know. I might put some of those like reflective one-way things on it.
Tinfoil.
Yeah, it's like they look like tinfoil.
Cover the windows with tinfoil.
I'm not gonna cover the windows with tinfoil because I want to be able to see out. Yeah, there's like, I forget what they were called, but they were like these things that you could put on the window, and it's like a one-way mirror sort of thing. Yeah,
Tint. Yep,
they're like
tint.
tinted. You can't see in it, but I can see out. That'd be cool. We are always watching you. Thank you. That's not creepy at all. I don't think anybody should always be watching me. I'm not interesting is more the only reason.
If you're always watching me, you will be very disappointed. I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft.
Oh God. When we had that CNBC like crew here, and they were like trying to shoot like just random B-roll, and they were like, "Oh, just do what you normally would do. We'll film it." I'm like, "I'd normally sit at a desk and stare at my computer."
I write emails.
Yeah. I don't know what
Gotta
you
see
guys.
my words per minute.
Yeah, like I don't know what kind of footage you think you're gonna get, but it's not gonna be super exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell every dad joke in your arsenal to the people in the TV show. They will never laugh. Twitch is better because you guys giggle at my butt jokes.
Exactly.
That's
Part of the magic, you know?
that is Twitch in a nutshell right
the
there.
magic of Twitch.
Butt jokes. As long as Zach is around, we'll be able to watch you forever. What? What? Oh no, I don't like that.
emote is extremely creepy as well.
Well,
I'm not sure where you got it, but it's very strange.
I mean, Zach's very strange too.
Yeah,
So
yeah. We could talk about that for a while, but we won't.
we won't. Anyways, moving on again.
Yes.
We got a whole other topic. Where were we? We were talking about convention stuff. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I think, if my math is right, last week TwitchCon was 7 weeks away. So this week it is 6 weeks away.
That sounds like your math is probably correct. I'm even gonna look at a calendar right now.
Yeah, that's pretty soon. So I think looking at this stuff now and kind of preparing for
6 weeks.
yeah.
6 weeks from today will be day one,
Ooh, day one.
as a matter of fact.
You want to go into these conventions prepared. You know what I mean? You don't want to just get there and be like, oh, I should maybe have some stuff prepared, like we never do. We've never done that. I don't know what you're talking about. We're always fully prepared for everything we do, Joe. Don't give me that look.
Yeah.
But I just kind of want to get into some do's and don'ts, and Jamar's not there to move the fire. It's
Yep.
okay. We
Picture the fire jumping this way. It's right there.
right there. Should I do the Omid thing?
Over one.
Should I do the Omid thing where you points right
Yeah.
there? I don't know how doesn't he sit right here usually?
Yeah, he does. That's his seat.
Can't he just point up like that?
I don't know. It's hard. It's because it's reversed. We could talk about this for a while. It's not
Okay.
gonna be interesting.
Druid's Fire
Hi, Druid's
with the
Fire.
sub 53 months in a row. Thank you, Druid's Fire.
Yep. Thanks so much.
That's cool. I think I met Druid's Fire at like PAX East briefly. Can you move it again?
Move it again.
Yeah, we kind of
my God.
we were like rambling and talking. It's
It
fine. We're gonna
happened.
move into do's and don'ts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 1,000 degrees in here.
Yeah, I think everybody's joining us in the office or in the studio. It's really hot in here, in case
Yeah.
you guys are wondering. So the fire icon that we use is definitely appropriate
Yep.
because it's 1,000,000,000 degrees in here, and there are lights on us too, so it's super
Yeah.
fun. Anyways, as far as do's and don'ts go,
Yep.
we talked about it before, but like knowing where your exit points are,
Yeah.
that's the first big do.
Well, know where you are first.
Yeah, I guess that's helpful.
Know where you are, and that sounds dumb, but it's not. Know if you go, you'll know. I'm at PAX West. I'm at the Washington State Convention Center. That's something that you know, right? What really knowing where you are is looking at a map first. Look at a map of Seattle. Google Maps. It takes 5 freaking seconds.
Dora.
Look at the surrounding area. Look at what's around. Look at what the streets in and out are. And then actually look at a convention map too. They have them on site at every convention, little paper maps. They also have them online a lot of times or on if there's an official app for whatever convention. Look at the maps. And then going right into what Oliver said,
Once you know where you are, you can know how to leave.
you can know how to leave. And that's
Yeah.
important in case you need to leave fast or you just need to leave because you're leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And that goes like not just the convention center, but like that goes for anything you're doing, that whole weekend. Like there's a lot of parties and stuff at these conventions. So if you're going there, just know how to get out. Find the fire exits. Day one.
Day one, yes.
That's a good thing to do. Like day one of a convention is always my like
Getting the bearings.
yeah, like in a lot of ways, like I will just walk the convention floor, like a couple of times probably on day one. I also kind of intentionally don't schedule meetings for day one if I can
Yeah.
avoid it. I might schedule a lunch meeting because it forces me to eat, which is another good convention tip. We'll do
That's
convention tips episode again.
It's important.
That'll be fun. But no, like when I'm like day one on the convention floor, I'm going around, I'm looking for a lot of things. I'm looking for where are the restrooms at?
Yeah.
Good information to know. Where are the exits at? You know, like, and not just like one exit, like know where like all the exits are. Like try to have a good idea of that. Because you never know where you're going to be when something happens, and if something happens and you need to get out extremely quickly, if everybody's running in one direction, but you know that if you run this other way, you can get out faster, like, you know, that's good information to have.
Yep.
Exit? Oh, exit. Oh, I see what you did there, Audrey. That was clever.
You're the only one who hated last year's TwitchCon floor plan?
I don't understand last year's floor plan still, so probably I hated it too. It made no sense to me.
It was confusing.
Yeah. In the military, they call it situational awareness.
Yeah. That's the next part, right? Is like know where you are, know where the exits are.
Exits.
And the exits.
Exits.
Know what's going on around you too.
And where the exits are.
Walking around the floor, if you are a streamer, you may be, like a lot of our clients are contracted to do various activities while at a convention. So obviously, if you're being hired to do something, you're going to be doing that, right? Have somebody, a couple people that are there, whether it's a significant other, whether it's a friend, whether it's a community manager, or you know, a viewer that you know and trust, a mod, something like that. Have somebody around as like kind of a lookout, somebody to be your eyes when you're focused on doing whatever you're doing, and you know, keeping an eye out on things, just like making sure stuff's good.
Yeah, I mean, you know, another thing that I read last night when I was doing my research was something that I'm sure Mr. McStabby came up with on his own, and he said that there's safety in numbers.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sure that was an original phrase and thought that he had.
Yep.
But it's true, like, be around other people.
Yeah.
Have, you know, use the buddy system. Get a handler. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, you know, another facet of something we do here. It definitely happened.
Some wrangling.
Yeah, there's definitely situations where it's needed.
Yeah. But and even if you're not being hired to go do something, like you're gonna be walking around, you're gonna run into people you probably know or have interacted with in the past, and you're talking to them. You know, have somebody else with you.
Yeah.
Somebody else to kind of just look out, and you know, if they're in the same situation, they're talking to somebody. You know, look out for them.
Yeah.
You know, be a good friend.
We we talk about it often here. There's a look,
Yep.
you know, that people give when they need to be taken out of conversation.
Yes.
And
It's called the look.
it's just called the look, you know.
Yep.
Sometimes, you know, and it could be a perfectly like fine, friendly conversation, but sometimes you just need to get out of it because maybe you have other obligations to do. Maybe something happens, or maybe they're being really creepy.
Yeah.
You know, there's a weird dude at PAX East, man, on day 0 in the bar at the hotel next to it. It was weird. He was just kind of hanging out. He did not know anything of what was going on. He was definitely just some random business dude that just happened to be there in the area, and was like, "Oh, what are all these people here?" And he was very fascinated by a lot of things happening, and I had to pull a lot of people away from that person. It was fun. I bought a lot of people shots that night. He was not one of them. I think that sums it up.
So yeah, buddy system.
Buddy
Have
system.
somebody looking out for you.
Buddy system. See that? We use the buddy system here on Office Hours, guys. Use it on the convention.
Yep.
Vox Nostra TV says, security personnel are trained to be the most aware people in the room. You don't have to be on the ball 24/7 while you're enjoying yourself, but don't, all capital letters, be the least aware person in the room. That's a good point.
Another side piece of advice: not a lot of drinking goes on the convention floor. Occasionally, places will offer beer or whatever. I know they did at BlizzCon last year. But at parties, there will be alcohol. The various bars, the various things that happen around the convention, there will be alcohol served. Don't get drunk.
Don't get drunk.
Don't get drunk is
Wow.
a good piece of advice there. And it's something that's tough. I mean, obviously, people want to blow off steam. They've been surrounded by all sorts of people all day long, and not kind of high pressure kind of situations. So, and on top of that, people like drinking. So it's something that kind of goes hands in hands with the convention.
Yeah.
But don't ever get so drunk that you are not able to take care of yourself and be aware of your situation.
Don't be me in Vegas last time I was in Vegas.
Yeah, don't.
Don't be me.
Yeah, there's a very big difference between being on your own pleasure trip surrounded by your friends and family, and being out at a convention are
Yeah.
two completely different things.
Mhm.
And just like Lucky said, always watch your freaking drink. That's no joke. Guy or girl,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Watch your
Zach,
drink.
watch
Be
your
careful.
drink, Zach. I'm looking at you.
Be really careful and look out for the people around you as well.
Yeah. Also, Min Dot Dot. Hi. I
I
didn't
mean,
even,
dot.
I didn't even notice you got in here.
Yep.
Do not stand near Oliver when Sat loudly yells shots. You might wind up with a contact drunk. Oh, that was a night. Yeah. Sat
Yep.
Satellizer's a fun guy. Oh boy. But yeah, that's all good advice there.
Yep.
I just took everything off of my computer screen that I wanted to look at, so that's lovely.
Yes.
Something else that I thought was interesting here was that McStabby said to basically leave a trail.
Yep. I love this.
Yeah,
part
that was
of
really
your
cool.
document.
And like honestly, like thank you for writing that up, by the way, because
Yeah.
there was a lot of really useful information in there. Some of it sounds super obvious, like be aware of your surroundings and find the exits, and some of it like I had never even thought of. Like,
Yep.
I mean, and again, this is a good example because like part of it is just like let people know what your plans are for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Let people know where you plan to go, about what time roughly you intend on getting back.
Yep.
That way, if something happens and you aren't back when you said you would plan to be back,
Yep.
then they can figure out what's going on and how to find you. On that subject, another thing on there that Mr. McStabby wrote that I never thought about was the thing with the IDs. I don't know if you.
Yeah, I did read that.
Yeah, that was really cool. So what he was saying was like a lot of times at these conventions, and I know this happens a lot. I've never done this myself, but I know a lot of people will end up like rooming with a lot of people like to save money or like, and a lot of times like they'll meet up with like people that they sort of know, like they've met online or something like that. And again, there's a lot of really cool people online that you can meet, but if you are willing to stay in a room with someone, that is you like trusting them to a pretty big extent there.
Yep.
And something that Mr. McStabby was suggesting was that you all basically take a picture of your IDs and send them to like family or friends who are not at the convention, who are just aware of what you're doing.
Yep.
And that way, like if you go missing or something like that, and they need to figure out what happened to you, they know who to go to first.
Exactly. Yep.
It's like, well, these are the people that they were staying with. That's where we're going to start our search.
Leaving a trail for yourself is just a really good idea anywhere. That's something that I learned personally growing up, like backpacking and camping, doing a lot of hiking growing up.
Little
Is
breadcrumbs?
because
Like
not
Hansel and Gretel?
breadcrumbs, but if you're going out somewhere, whether you're going with a group, just one friend, or just going by yourself, you say, hey, there's always somebody that you tell. You say, hey, I am going to this place for this long, and I will be back on that, then. And it's not going to be like, I'm going to be back at 2:42 in the afternoon, on Saturday.
Right.
But say, like, I'll be back this night. That sort of thing. So, if that night rolls around, you're not back, there's been no word, you didn't call them or text them and say, hey, I'm going to be late. Hey, I decided to do X, Y, or Z. And there's no sign of you, then people will start looking for you. That's exactly the thing. And Mindot is like, and if you haven't heard from her when you know that she should be back already, that's when you start to get worried and
Yeah.
start reaching out to people to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Um,
I keep talking about this movie, but I saw Searching like a week or two ago with John Cho, and I think everybody should go watch it because it was really fun. It was a really good movie. But in that movie, the whole premise is John Cho's daughter goes missing, and he knows that she's missing because
I saw a preview for this.
she's
Okay.
supposed to, be home, and
Yep.
she's not home. And he's like, oh, maybe she left early and she's at school. And then, well, now she's not back from school. Like, now it's really weird that I haven't heard from this, person who's supposed to be here. So, let people know where you're going. Again, use the buddy system, even for like a long distance buddy system.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be like hey, it texts every 5 minutes. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm back from the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, but say if you just have a buddy or a partner or something like that you can tell, hey, I am going to this bar to go meet these people, and I'll be back tonight.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like, I'll be back
Like,
realistically
leave a trail
early tomorrow morning.
so that the people that care about you can find you if they need you. As I think somebody else mentioned above, I don't remember who it was, I'm sorry, mentioned make sure that you have a backup phone battery or that your phone is fully charged.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're not that person with a dead phone. For a couple of reasons. A, if people are trying to reach you and your phone's dead and it's just going straight to voicemail,
Yeah.
People can get pretty worried about that, understandably. And they should, you can't be reached and people are looking for you. But also, if you're ever in a situation where you need to be able to contact somebody else, whether you feel like you're in danger, you're just in a situation you don't want to be in, or somebody else is potentially in danger, like you want to have a functioning cell phone
Yeah. I mean,
that can make a call or reach
Get
out
you-
to somebody
or call an Uber to get out of there.
precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is sort of on topic, but mostly just a curiosity on me. Do iPhones have removable batteries?
They do not.
Okay.
I mean, technically, but you have to do some serious surgery.
Right. Okay. Because I like phones, and a feature that a lot of phones used to have was removable batteries.
Yep.
Where you'd be able to take, you could pop the back of it off, you could take the battery out and put a new one in there, and a lot of people really liked that. I think LG in their G5 from a couple years ago had a removable battery. Maybe it was the one before. But since then, nobody's done it, and
Yeah.
they've all gone for that kind of body design where it's all kind of melded
They
together.
want you to replace the phone. They don't want you to replace
Exactly.
But without getting into phone politics.
Yeah.
Because we could talk about that for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pocket chargers all day.
Yeah,
That's right.
Pocket chargers. Make sure that you're charged before you go out. That's something that I try and always do.
I play a lot of Pokemon Go. I'm always super paranoid about my phone, and I always have a backup charger just in case.
Yep.
Because I want to be able to get all the Pokemon.
Yep.
I don't want to not have to catch a Pokemon because my phone died.
Two things in chat that I wanted to touch on. Merlin says, make sure that you memorize people's phone numbers. If there are important contacts that you need, it's a great idea to write them on a little piece of paper, put them in your wallet, put them in your breast pocket, or put them in your purse or whatever it may be. Somewhere safe and accessible in case your phone does die. I know I rely on my phone's contact book entirely too much, so that's
Same.
something that can be super helpful. McStabby also said that all of this is good advice for dating too. Dating is scary, and this is just a good thing to do whenever you're going out.
Yeah.
My roommates know I go to work every day, and for whatever reason, if I don't come home after work one day, I mean, they're not gonna freak out. They probably said, "Oh, Joe went to happy hour. Oh,
Yeah.
Joe went here or there." But if they don't see me for a day,
Yeah.
then they start to worry. So just be communicative.
Yeah. And hey, monkeyism. Thanks for stopping by.
Yes.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, and you
Cults?
don't need a battery that's like the size of a briefcase. I know it'll hold enough charge for like 2 years in the wilderness, but I know Oliver has a little phone charger about maybe like what 2-3 inches long and an inch tall. That's in the shape of a Vans shoe.
Oh, I do have that one.
And it's something like that just to like make sure to keep you charged up, as it were.
Yeah, been recommended from Naomi. Oh, hey, at Post PAX West. Yes, I met Naomi at South, I want to say. She be at TwitchCon? I hope she's at TwitchCon. I wanna hang out with Naomi again. She's cool.
I'll let you carry that battery.
If your extra battery isn't the size of a backpack, you're doing it wrong. I'm doing it wrong, then I've got a better solution. Cargo pants. So many pockets. All the pockets. So many chargers. And they're super trendy and fashionable. That's what I tell myself.
Moving on.
So some other things that
Yep.
McStabby was writing in there actually that I think are very important, and this has been kind of a topic for in the community for a while, is like food being brought to you at a convention.
Yes.
Like I know they're trying to be polite, and like if they bake you like cupcakes or something, like that's very nice, but it's probably a good idea that you don't eat it. Like anything that someone brings to you that's like homemade, just it sucks, but you got to make it a general rule that you just like don't take that stuff. Like it's too risky. You don't know enough about what is going on there, and it sucks. But like that's just a thing. And I remember Diction was talking about that last year before TwitchCon, because somebody I was just watching a stream and someone was in chat. And they were just like, hey, I really want to bake you cookies or something. And he was like, oh, man, that's super nice. I can't, though. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, I know you're not trying to be a dick about it, but, like, I just have to make it a general rule of, like, I can't do it because, don't take candy from strangers.
Yep.
Don't get in the van either, even if they say they have, like, super cool Pokemon cards and stuff. It's not worth it. I play too much Pokemon again, don't I?
It's a discussion we can have after the show.
Yeah, all right.
I need to have a talk.
Yeah, all right. Take it, tell them it looks great, be gracious as can be, just don't eat it. Yeah, that's also perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I'll eat this later.
Yep.
Walk away, throw it away. It was delicious. Do what you gotta do.
Be careful.
But be careful. People be crazy.
Yep.
Jamar's laughing at me.
I'm not sure if he's laughing or crying.
I don't know. Let's see. Monkeyism. I was curious about what are the realistic logistics of bringing a large-scale convention to Canada?
That is an excellent question. I think they just did DreamHack Montreal.
Yeah.
I want to say this last weekend or recently.
I know there was stuff happening in Montreal last weekend. I don't know if it was a DreamHack. It might have been. I honestly have no idea. Yeah, DreamHack Montreal. It was big.
Yeah.
Ooh, that does sound big.
Being neither Canadian nor convention organizers, Oliver and I are not super qualified to speak on that. Unfortunately.
I wish I could go to Canada more.
I would like to go to Canada more. But yeah, that's not something that we super know about or
I know that
can speak on necessarily, but same rules applied no matter what country you're in.
The thing with with a lot of that is a lot of these conventions are kind of set in like where they are, except for TwitchCon for some reason.
Yeah, TwitchCon likes moving around.
But like BlizzCon's in Anaheim, Comic-Con International is in San Diego. Like that's just how it is. And a lot of them are very hesitant to move or are contractually unable to move for X amount of years. So it really just depends on the particular situation. But I think, I would love to go to a convention in Canada. I would love any excuse to go to Canada.
One thing that I did not think about before this, thank you, Monkeyism, for helping kind of spark this. I mean, DreamHack Montreal is a French-speaking city. If you're going to a convention, if you're going to Montreal, or if you're going to, for example, Gamescom in Germany, you don't need to learn how to speak German. You don't need to learn how to speak French, but familiarize yourself with basics. That's a very good way to protect yourself because you'll know what exit is in German. You know what I mean?
It's fair.
And at these things, it's easy to say, well, I'm going to be at this big convention. Everybody's going to be speaking English there. You know, just like you said, fairly bilingual. Like, you know, at these big trade shows, there's going to be, most people are going to speak. English is a big business language. So it's a safe assumption that a lot of people are going to speak English. But street signs, maps, etc., are not necessarily going to be in English. So yeah, exactly, subway, that sort of thing. Do like a preliminary, just like crash course, and just familiarize yourself with some basic words, like geography of whatever city, whatever area that you'll be in. So just so you know the lay of the land, you can get around if you need to.
It's good advice. I haven't done a whole lot of international travel myself. I know Joe has been places and seen things. I think you've gone to Middle Earth.
I've been
is that
to
accurate?
New Zealand,
So I said
which is
Middle Earth.
easy because they all speak English there.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that was a luck out. But I've been to Europe a couple of times as well.
You didn't have to speak Elvish at all or anything?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nobody there speaks Elvish.
That's a little
It's a
disappointing.
common misconception, I know.
That's
I'm
a bummer.
sorry to shatter any dreams out there. But
Flips table.
I know, right? But I mean, in most places, especially most touristy kind of places that you'll go to for a convention or just personal travel, most places there's gonna be a lot of English, but like does not give you an excuse to not familiarize yourself with the local language, and like nobody. At the end of the day, conventions are gonna, like they have their own security concerns to pay attention. They do have, I believe, an obligation to protect the people that purchase a ticket and walk through those doors. But that being said, that's no excuse for not making sure that you're protected yourself.
Yeah.
And that is the most important thing to take away, I think, is to be aware of your surroundings. Make sure that you know how to get out if you need to. Make sure you know what's going on around you. And be careful.
Yeah, and I think, one last thing to say on that is if you're at a convention and God forbid something happens, or you have a suspicion that something might be happening, like don't try to confront that situation yourself.
Yeah.
They will have some sort of professional security at the event. Do get in contact with them and let them know and let them handle the situation.
Yep.
I don't care if you're a really big guy and think you can do it. Like it's not your place, and it could be really bad
Yeah.
if you go in there. And have a designated meat shield. That's also good. That's what Mr. McStabby's good at. He
Yep.
does that a lot.
And a lot of this, I know, a lot of today's show was kind of bleak, right? I mean, we're talking about really serious things, security, some of the tragedies that have happened recently in public events and spaces, and these sort of things. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of really good people out there too. And don't let yourself become a shut-in just because some people are out there trying to scare you. I don't want to get political at all with this. I don't want to get, anything. But there are more good people than bad. And I firmly believe that. And this is conventions and big events like this are a great way to bring people together from all around the world. So I hope that some of these things are addressed and that people are good to each other.
And yeah, Monkeyism, you said you were curious to see what TwitchCon released for a security statement. They did today. I dropped the link there for you if you want to check it out. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. It's pretty standard stuff. I don't think you'll see anything in there too surprising. Yeah, they went live with it a couple of hours ago, so it's pretty new. But yeah, they were just kind of detailing bag checks, metal detectors. I don't even think they said metal detectors, did they? They'll probably have metal detectors.
They had metal detectors last year. I think it's a safe assumption that they'll do it again this year.
Should have sent an email. Yeah. I just want metal detectors. Yeah, I know. Me too. We all want metal detectors.
Yes, we do.
I've gotten really good at taking all of my things out of my pockets and putting them into the metal detector, the little tray thingy. I got it. It's I'm I'm like really fast at it.
Airports
now.
have trained as well.
Exactly. I'm just like, boom, there it is. I used to wear like a jacket with a lot of pockets, and I would just put everything in those pockets and just take the jacket off and
Yeah.
put it there, and it was done.
I also feel Twitch should be utilizing partners a bit better for big scale announcements.
That's a good point, actually.
That's a good point. Also, the thing about that is that, I mean, Twitch partners are 1099s. They're independent contractors, and I do also think that statements, like the partners are not the ones that are responsible for security. It's Twitch, and Twitch employees that are.
Yeah.
It's Twitch as a business that is. And sometimes
We're aware.
people
Thanks.
don't read their emails.
We're aware that people don't read emails. That's why we have jobs. I love all of our clients. I don't know what you're talking about. They're all amazing. There's a list somewhere or a link to a list of our clients. Even our latest client, number one Alex,
Yeah.
he's all on the website. It looks great. But anyways, guys, I think we're actually going to wrap up the show a little bit early today.
Yep.
I have a lot of stuff that needs to get done still. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here unless anybody else has some last minute questions that they want to ask. Next week, we are planning to have Omid back on the show, and actually we are going to be doing another episode on rates and kind of just talking about, again, like what your rates are, what you think they should be, and kind of, you know, that general thing. And yeah, and ask anything you want, Monkeyism, and it's totally fine. You want to know what? Like, what's my favorite food? Like, what's my favorite color? So we all know how to calculate our per hour rate as casters, but what about monthly rates? That is a good question. Right. So when figuring out how to work with like a monthly sponsorship, a lot of times these are ongoing things that like, what is an average? Monthly minutes watched, viewers average, right?
So what I would recommend is break down exactly what you're going to be doing under
Right.
that monthly sponsorship.
So, for example, like, do you have, you know, sponsored streams that you have to do, like, that say, you know, like sponsored by Corsair or whatever? Do you have to, you know, is it something where it's more passive, where you just have a panel up and you just have to wear the product? Do you have to talk about it? Like, and generally it's some combination of those things, but figuring out what the obligations are is really kind of the first step. And then it is kind of, you know, from there moving into figuring out, yeah, what you're saying there, like minutes watched, average viewers, things like that.
About Tree Fitty.
About Tree Fitty.
That's not the answer. But yeah, take into account exactly what their asks are of you, what you as a broadcaster would be doing under that sponsorship. Also think of if you are going to be restricted from using, like if you're being sponsored by a hardware or peripherals company, think about if there are any of their products that signing that contract will, that any products that you currently use and you really like that you'll be restricted from using on stream, on camera, under that sponsorship agreement, and factor that in as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky, and again, like this is a lot of what we what we do here is trying to figure out what is a fair rate, because, you know, exclusivity costs more. Yep.
Precisely.
Yep.
Yep.
I mean, if you can't use anything else, and like that, you know, that has to be something to factor in.
Yeah.
But that's the general rule of it. If you have any more questions about it, go ahead and shoot a message off to the OPG Twitter account.
Yep.
At OP_group.
Yes.
If you guys aren't following that Twitter account, please, you know, hit that follow button. There's some useful information on there occasionally, maybe from time to time. But yeah, like if you have any, like I said, if you have any more questions, like specifically, send a message there. We'll help you out.
Happy to chat with you there and figure things out.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's pretty much what we had for today.
What are my plans for the weekend?
Oh.
Probably sleep, because I haven't done a whole lot of that. I'm probably gonna keep playing Pokemon Go. I want an Articuno and a Zapdos real bad. Those are my plans.
Yes.
Lucky's gonna be working. I probably will too. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna do a little bit of work myself. I am Going to go to the beach this weekend. I've decided that
Ooh.
today. It's
I wanna do
gorgeous.
that. I wanna
It's
do
gorgeous
that.
out here. So I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna play World of Warcraft.
I might go to the beach to catch Pokemon. I need some Magikarp. There's a quest. I have to evolve a Magikarp. You know.
Exactly. They're not gonna collect themselves.
Well said. All right, guys.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you guys for being here. I hope you guys had a good show. As a general statement, yeah, if you have any questions, shoot it on over to the Twitter DMs. We'll get back to you. And also watch out for early next week. We'll probably be tweeting out a link if you guys are curious about, rates and stuff and you want to participate in that show. It'll be a quick little survey of like what you think your rate is for X, Y, and Z. And we'll talk about it on the show. Should be a good time. But yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
Yep, that's awesome. I have a command. I've never had a command before.
Look at that.
What do you know?
Follow Joe on Twitter.
All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care and have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.
Bye now.